Hi there, Aries. Thank you for joining me for your weekly forecast for week commencing the 26th of September. This week, your goals and ambitions sector get a huge boost when Pluto, the planet of transformation and power, which has been in this area for 7 years, goes into forward motion after tracking backwards for the previous 5.5 months. If some of your big aspirations have seemed to be a little bit out of reach, then this certainly won't have helped. But if you recall, last week, Pluto was making a compelling link to Mercury, the planet of communication, and that continues this week. And Mercury's in a very exacting part of your scope. So your ability to see the big picture, but also the small picture, the tiny details, is going to be absolutely awesome through to the middle of this week on the back of this particular influence. But on Tuesday, your ruling planet Mars also lands in the sign of Capricorn. Now, Pluto and Mars are actually going to start to combine from the middle of October, and that's going to be a very crucial period for the biggest hopes that you've got. But Mars is almost immediately going to fire up your ambitions and give you greater confidence. Your ability to assert yourself is rarely lacking, but it's certainly going to be enhanced from here on in. But Mars is also forging a really helpful link to Venus, the planet of more feminine relating, and that's in the deep and passionate sign of Scorpio. I think when it comes to business and understanding what's really worthwhile and what's worth concentrating on, particularly in business relationships, I think you can come across as someone who's very dynamic, a leader, but also you have the opportunity this week to inspire people by being diplomatic too and being inclusive. It's not just about telling people what to do, it's setting an example, and others can be keen to follow your lead. And this is because from Monday through to Friday, the Sun forges a glorious alliance with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion and good fortune, which is in your sector of relating. So if you can be both assertive but also sensitive, you've got a winning formula. And people can be really much more conscious of what you have to offer. However, in a more personal context, I think if you're looking for an improvement around relationships, you want to see that the partner is really sincere and is in for the long haul. However much they tell you how much they care for you, you're wanting to also see some action. But this can be a week when some very important dialogue takes place. When the Sun combines with Jupiter, it only happens every 12 years. This is a really wonderful opportunity for you to bond with someone in a very positive way. But it's also a chance to just realise the strength you can gain by forging all sorts of alliances. It doesn't have to be just in a romantic sphere. We are not islands. We all have very similar human needs, but sometimes we obviously like our space. And with Uranus going through your sign for the last 4 years, you've needed more space than usual. But this combination between the Sun and Jupiter can certainly give you a much greater sense of the benefits that you can gain from joining together with others. Now, if you're a competitive Aries, sporty, this can also be a great link for you too. But then Venus and Mars go on to forge a delicious link with Neptune, which continues in a very, very sensitive part of your horoscope. I think what this is basically saying is that your ability to be intuitive but also powerful can certainly be a great asset. It's not all about forcing the pace. It's sometimes listening to the vibes and reading the proverbial runes. And if you do continue to listen to your instincts very carefully, but have that greater sense of confidence, everything will take some very, very positive steps forwards. Particularly as this week draws to a close, there's a wonderful new moon in your sector of relating as well. But it's also forging a link with Saturn. That continues to be conflicted by Neptune, sadly, which means that some information could seem a little vague, or you could be challenged if you're not very clear-minded yourself. But I think the combination between the new moon and Saturn, as this week draws to a close, suggests if you are very clear of where you stand in one particular relationship, it really can take a giant step forwards in the following month. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.